What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with Learn Plan Profit. I don't know why I always introduce the videos like that, but I hope you guys are all having an amazing day. Let's kind of go ahead and get started. And I'm going to start off by just breaking down a series of stocks that you guys first see value. The stock that I'm personally looking at ended up experiencing a slight little pullback and stuff like that. So it's still according to the same pattern that I originally saw. It's still holding above the same support. It just unfortunately did have a pullback. And let's see how everyone's doing today, and then we can kind of go from there. So let's see. What's going on, Muhammad? Yes, consistency is key. Yeah, so I have my lucky neck pillow today. Let's see if it actually helps out. What's going on, Matthew? What's going on, Jerry? Red damage, what's going on? Lots of red today. Tread lightly, team, I agree. Thank you again for that, Danny. Liam, what's going on? Actually up early. Yeah, so I was able to actually wake up a little bit early and respond to a couple direct messages. I've been doing a little bit better with that, at least I hope. But yeah, that's really just it. So let's kind of go ahead and get started. And I love your professional new video. I like that. I'm happy to hear that you guys like the new cinematic video. I'm super pumped to be working on one of those like once a week. It's something that me and the group is super excited to be doing. Like, we love doing it. I just don't have time to like film or edit, and just having someone that's going to be focused on that is going to be really amazing. So let's go over USLV. So USLV was actually the one that I am still currently trading myself, but yeah, if you guys want to break it down, let's go ahead and do it. So let's see if I can move myself a little bit like that. Boom. All right. So what do I think about USLV and this pullback that just happened? Am I upset? Is there a break of pattern? Is this a pullback? Like, what's going through my head? Is that okay if I share that information with you guys? So looking at the pattern right now for USLV, I could see that it's had, again, this very horizontal, what I'm going based off of is this very horizontal resistance and horizontal support. Very easy to understand, at least to see in my eyes. 950 support, and in reality, I would be more than happy with a 1050 resistance, right? 1050 resistance, but I'm just going to say $11. It has hit $11 quite a bit of times. Sometimes it has not. So let's take that into consideration, that maybe like 1060 wouldn't even be a bad exit if we had to. So there's this range, right? This is why I like horizontal patterns, because it's very simple and easy for me to understand, like when to get in, when to get out, when's a good buy, when's not a good buy. So again, asking ourselves the three questions. The first one is, do I understand the pattern? I do understand that I got in when USLV was showing signs of a descending pattern, and the reason that I did that was because I wanted to get in at a low enough price point, and then when it begins to reverse, I could always add more to my position. If there's a break of pattern, then I could simply cut losses, right? Has there been a break of pattern from the pullback that it had today? No. And I'm going to explain to you why. Very simple. So again, the original support that I identified was $9.50, and yesterday it hit highs, if you guys remember, or it hit lows of 950, and then it started to recover, and then that's when I decided to buy in at the recovery, although that it was a recovery intraday, right? It pushed up, and then it still got rejected by the EMA. If you look at /SI, which is the silver future, it's still doing some consolidation at around 1620. And if you could see, yeah, it had another red day. And if you look at the 1-day, 1-minute chart, it was actually about 2 to 3 minutes right before the market opened that, it was actually pushing up, and then it ended up getting rejected and had this huge downward pattern right before the market opened. So, very fortunate and very lucky for us that, we're invested in USLV, that instead of opening at a higher price point than what we, closed at yesterday, that ended up pulling back and then making us open up in the red. And that's totally okay. It's all part of the game, right? But I just wanted to explain to you again, looking at yesterday's previous support at around 950, looking at the support right now right around 950, is there a break of pattern? In my opinion, there is not, right? It's still around the same general area of $9.50, and that's why I'm still considering this thing to be a pullback. I made the decision to buy right when it was pulling back and then consolidating, and then when it started to push back up, knowing that it just came from a $9.50 support. Today it didn't push up very aggressively, and something that I could have seen a little bit better. Now, again, me just sharing my opinion with you guys. Now, me just looking and taking a step back. If we would have looked at the 5-day 5-minute chart, or even the 1-day 5-minute chart, just that this gives us a couple more days, you could see that the SMA line acted as a resistance, and there has been no break of pattern, right? We could have waited for like a solid hold or something above like $9.80, and we talked about this all day yesterday. But we could see on why it got rejected at the price point that it did, and we could see like all day yesterday on why it continued to show signs of this descending pattern. So that's exactly why I'm going to be setting my alert and see if we can actually break above and have some form of break of pattern as it has the potential to recover. So that is my breakdown on USLV. I still think that the pattern is pretty valid. The reason that I found it so attractive was because the horizontal pattern was very easy for me to understand, and the potential for profit was worth it, and the opportunity cost was worth it. I found it to be a good deal, and that was the last question that I wanted to ask myself. Is the potential for profit worth it? Do I understand the pattern, and is it a good deal? All three were yes. I just got in before the confirmation. Big surprise there, right? So I've done that multiple times. But again, I just wanted to share my thought process with you. It does not mean that it's going to actually reverse and curl back up. That's a risk that I'm taking by taking on the position before the confirmation. So it has the potential to drop from like $9.50 and shoot all the way down to $9, just like it's done before, right? Or even sub $9. But based on the pattern that I saw that was very consistent with SI, based on the pattern that I saw that was very consistent with USLV, I found the 1620 support on the future for silver to be very solid. Same thing with the support on USLV. I might be completely wrong, and that is the risk that I was willing to take when I took my original position. So hope you guys understand that. If that wasn't in a detailed breakdown, please let me know. Man, guys, I need to blow my nose. Give me 1 second. All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. AMD is under the 180-day EMA. Check out the defending pattern on DGAS on the 20-day chart. I don't know if you guys were able to see, but /GC still got rejected by that resistance and then started to trend down, and then that's what caused JDST to continue to push up. We can see that it's getting closer to this resistance right around the SMA line, which is a resistance that it's had once and twice before, and it's validated as a previous support. So again, old support levels can become new resistance levels. So just keep a very close eye out for that, for a potential reason of a pullback. Also, if we look at /GC and seeing at the price point on where it's at, this is a general area right around 1300 to around 1305 where it tends to bounce at. So just something to take into consideration where this might be where /GC begins to reverse, and if it does, right? So this is still descending and JDST is still ascending, but it's also just keeping a very close eye for a potential reversal, so we can be on high alert. So then we know that, okay, when it begins to reverse, then maybe it wouldn't be such a bad decision to, take a position on JNEC. But again, we want to wait for the confirmation. We want to make sure that JDST gets rejected. And as of right now, it's still actively trending up, but just food for thought, something that you guys might want to take into consideration. I found this pattern to be, pretty attractive in my opinion, especially as JDST was pushing up and there's more hype being built on it. Just take that into consideration on why it can get rejected here and then pulling back to around like $51. So yeah. Whoa. All right, let's see. I like that Eric Schaefer. All right, let me know if you guys have any questions. So it looks like we have a breakdown on AMD that is requested. I'm ready to break down any stocks that you guys see value in. Let's go ahead and do it. So I don't see too much value in AMD, especially not right now. This is actually one that I was going over with like Robin and Harley. And one thing that we talked about was like, okay, like why did it have the push up? Like why did it have such a solid push up, right? Earnings, right? So that acted as a catalyst, and you could see the volume, the normal volume that it tends to have, and then all of a sudden there's a huge increase in volume, right? That causes a huge increase in price, and then once that demand isn't there anymore, you start to see this curling pattern. Also see that the volume bars start to decrease. So taking that into consideration, you'll start seeing lower lows and higher lows as well, which is signs of a descending pattern, which I don't find to be too attractive. Also look at previous earnings as well and see the patterns that it tends to have. It might push up during earnings, but the days that follow start to show signs of a descending pattern. Just something that you want to take into consideration. Again, not every single stock is like this, but something like AMD, I have known, I mean, I've traded AMD multiple times. So based on that, just set an alert. Hey, if this thing starts to make higher highs, great. It's doing something that's very attractive and that's showing signs of growth. But if it's making lower lows as it continues to break support levels, then that's not very attractive, and we might want to put this just with alerts and then focus and follow up with this maybe next week or when it becomes relevant again. So yeah. Ticker symbol DAL. Okay, so looking at this, I could see a potential support right around $52. There's no sign of a reversal just yet. Potential resistance right around $56, right? Can we agree on that? Pretty conservative resistance. Margin of profit should be about, okay, almost about 8%, a little bit over 7.5%. But in reality, what we want to see is last time that it did this, do you see that last time that it pushed down? It continued to trend down below the support. It did some consolidation, and then it started to actively trend up. This is where we're going to, this is like the sweet spot on where it is that we want to find this to begin to reverse. So I think that it still has potential to potentially break down the support, right? The MACD indicator is starting to signal a potential reversal. But again, we want to wait for the confirmation. So what we could do is we could set the alert for the break above $53, or we could just continue to follow up with it on a daily basis and see when it actually starts to sell off, consolidate, and then push back up, because this could take about 3 to 4 days. So something that we want to take into consideration moving on forward. So good call out for DAL. I'll add this one to my, what's it called, general watch list. So this is Delta Airlines. Actually, I think I'm supposed to fly out today. I haven't even booked my flight. That's pretty upsetting. I'm gonna go visit my family in California for like 12 hours. Ticker symbol. I like these, and feel free to ask questions if you have a question. If you're thinking about direct messaging me, I'd rather have you actually ask me a question here. So if you have time or you have direct messaged me and I haven't responded, maybe you might want to copy and paste it, as long as it's appropriate to the live stream and stuff like that. So ticker symbol CY. What's going on, Judy? So ticker symbol CY is still showing signs of a sell-off. I do see why you might find this to be a good potential reversal. It's just been showing signs of a very solid downward pattern. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set an alert for a reversal and a break above 815. That's something that it hasn't been able to do. It hasn't been able to like actually start showing signs of an uptrend pattern. It's been trying to and really trying to recover. But unfortunately, just not been able to do it. So let's just set our alerts, follow up with it when it becomes relevant, and kind of go based off of that. So thank you again for the call out. Hey, Ricky, could you give me your opinion on Agent? There's a huge sellout. Okay, let's check it out. And then that was Julian. What's going on, Julian? Okay, so watch out for earnings, something that we want to take into consideration. Also, the volume looks a little low. Yeah, volume's a little low. And this is a stock, so it's not an ETF, so that is a factor. Also, do you see that it's, again, been showing lower lows? It does have a lot of potential for upside potential, but also it does have its earnings. And last time that it had its earnings, it didn't hit its expectation, but because it was, no, and that was way overpriced. Last time it hit its earnings, it looks like it doesn't usually hit its expectation. I would kind of weigh out for earnings. I know that means that you probably can't trade this one for some time, but just in my opinion, that's what I would do. I would take a step back, set my alerts, follow up with this one, maybe on the 10th because the earnings are on the 9th or whenever the next day of market open is. But take that into consideration before taking an actual position. And I would like to follow up with this one when it actually starts to make higher highs. So maybe setting an alert at when it goes above 370 and going from there. But you can see that I've had a couple alerts already set on this one, so I have followed up with this one before. But we need it definitely does have a lot of margin to recover. Even on the conservative side, let's say like 450, it's still a huge margin to recover. But we need confirmation that it's going to start actively trending up. And I think waiting for the confirmation, especially on something that's been descending for a little bit over a month, should be key. So thank you again for that call out. Do you go every week to visit? So not every week. I either go like every other week, but I also usually go visit California. I have a team out there that I work with that manages certain parts for different parts of tech beds and stuff like that. So I go visit them quite often. MSFT. So okay, this is Microsoft. Still showing signs of a descending pattern. It is at a potential price point on when it might reverse. So it's at a good deal price point, right? That it's at a price point where it's a good deal. So it has that, right? Do you understand the pattern? So do you understand this ascending uptrend pattern? That's the second question you want to ask yourself. And then like the last one is it actively trending up, and is the opportunity cost worth taking? Just because this is a higher cap stock, right? And these don't move as aggressively, you want to make sure that when you get in, that you don't have to hold for a number of weeks or anything like that for the 2 to 3%. Something that an approach that I would take is to make sure that you get into this when it's actively uptrending, and confirmation is key, especially in something like this. So again, waiting for the reversal, and even if it's just like a couple green candles, like right now there is no confirmation of a reversal, but even when it starts just to show signs of a potential like higher highs, that would feel, at least in my opinion, in my eyes, much more attractive than trying to get in right now. So good call out, just no confirmation just yet, and it's not actively trending up. So, but thank you again for that call out. So what city is your family located in? They're in Orange County. I would like to keep it at that. But thank you, Brandon. Gosh, waiting for confirmation. Okay, so gosh. Gosh is still showing some consolidation, so yeah, it would make sense on why you might still see value in this one. We're looking at / where's CL. Yeah, just a lot of consolidation, very almost like horizontal pattern, the low points and the high points, right? So low points about 67, high points around 69, and then looking at drip and kind of where that's trading, it's just starting to decay at a much slower pace, which is cool. But again, it's still decaying, and that's the issue. So right now, yeah, it makes sense on why you would find this to be attractive, and it looks like he has that green candle confirmation. I would like to follow up with Gush and see how it ends up playing out for you. So feel free to direct message me and letting me know how it played out for you. So why is Jaina going straight up right now? So, okay, it's actively trending up, and then / GC is not showing any signs of an uptrend. That's funny. Yeah, and there's not always, again, we've talked about it multiple times. It's not always an exact, correlation, but it's a very close correlation that we felt pretty comfortable with it before. So again, it's good to use as a reference, but you don't want to solely ever rely on any indicator or any future as well. So as of right now, I mean, it is at a price point where it normally does bounce at. It looks like JNEG is trying to show signs of an uptrend. Is it going to hold? Um, you know, I don't know. I still think it's way too early to tell, especially as something is still actively trending down. So that's why I just don't, I mean, I find JNEG to be a good deal right now just because of how overextended I could see, what's it called, / how overextended I see JDST to be. So that's why I find JNEG and / GC to be a pretty solid pattern. But other than that, like, it's still too early to tell. And that's why I would like to follow up with it, and just to make sure that JDST ends up getting rejected by that resistance, right, that we called out on the 5-day 15-minute chart. I'm sorry, the 180-day. So this resistance right here, getting a full confirmation for a pullback, and if we can see this thing start actively trading down below the EMA, then I would find the JNEG swing trade to be much more attractive. So yeah. Oh, we're getting quite a bit of suggestions now. All right, ECYT is actively trading up. First resistance around $11. Next resistance, first resistance at around 10. Following one is going to be right around 11, and it's showing signs of an ascending uptrend pattern. Very easy to see this uptrend pattern when there's a break of pattern, so that shouldn't be difficult for you to see. We have traded this one before. It does have pretty low volume, something that you might want to take into consideration. But yeah, even if you want to look at closer patterns. There we go. Hey, this is actually a pretty good indication. So for ECYT, if you guys can look at the, what is this, the 5-minute 30-day chart, and you can see where it acts as a pretty solid support right around the SMA line. So it still has some ways to go for this sell-off, and just take that into consideration on waiting for the reversal and stuff like that. So good call out. Okay. No, I don't see value in this one. I actually think that this one's going to continue to trend down, and yeah, especially leading up to its earnings. I think that this thing has the potential to pull back down, and you can see that there's showing signs of a curling pattern. The EMA line is starting to curl. Yeah, I don't see much value in this one, but thank you again for the call out. So NTNX showing signs of an active uptrend, showing signs of a potential reversal. Do you guys see this right here? Potential reversal right here. I would set your alerts, just follow up this one and keep a close eye if you do see value in this one, with a potential resistance right around $55. So you might want to ask yourself, like, is that margin of profit worth taking? If it is, great, set up a plan, understand the pattern, and then ask yourself if you're getting this at a good deal, which I think at the current price point that it's at right now, it's not so much of a bad deal. So MU still actively trending down. Again, no signs of a reversal just there. So again, not much of a breakdown that I need to do on that. INTC. INTC, again, still no confirmation of a reversal. It is trying to show signs of a potential reversal right here, but again, we want to make sure that we catch this at the break above the EMA. Pretty solid and consistent uptrend pattern. So as long as you understand that, as long as you understand the opportunity calls and your exit strategy, and you find this to be a good deal, then I'm all for it. So for those, Michelle, my SMA length is set at a length of 180. It is also covered in the course. So for all those that are watching this video, please make sure that you are dedicating time to complete the entire course, because that is required for each and every single one of you. And I would encourage you to do that before you actually start trading, if possible. So yeah. Still showing signs of a descending pattern. Previous support was the SMA line, now acting as a new resistance, and that's why I think that it's on the overbought side, and where I think that this thing is going to get rejected. So thank you for that. We talked about you guys. Yeah, so you guys waiting for the bounce. Yep, I agree. So it's becoming, I'm sorry, you said you guys? I did see natural gas pushing up. Let's actually break that down. Yes, I did see natural gas pushing up after market hours, or during extended hours, and yeah, I did have a solid push up. I still see this to be a little bit more on the overextended side, but it's it bounced very close to that SMA line, and it's still trying to show signs of an uptrend pattern. So that's still pretty attractive, and it definitely is pushing up. So I would say that as of right now, yeah, you guys does seem to be the move, or the one to focus on as it's actively trending up. Okay, I'm gonna do 2 more breakdowns, and then we'll be done with the breakdowns. So I already did this one. Let's do DRV and then one more. But they're already posted, so please don't request anymore. So DRV is actually still trending down. It is trying to recover. We talked about this one yesterday, so not much to talk about there. And the reason that I called it out is because this is DRN. I saw that DRN had a really nice push up. It approached that $18 resistance, and based on previous patterns, do you guys see this? It pushes up pretty aggressively and then sells off. Pushes up pretty aggressively and then sells off. Pushes up pretty aggressively and then sells off. Pushes up pretty aggressively, and then it would make sense on why it would sell off. I'm just going based off previous patterns. It doesn't mean that it actually has to do that. Just something that I'm going based off of on what has happened before. So let's do one more. Let's see. Let's check out PTN. So PTN, solid uptrend pattern. Yeah, so we have covered this one before. Showing signs of a solid uptrend pattern, showing signs of a potential reversal on this curling pattern of why it might start trending up. And the margin of profit is actually very attractive, even to the highs of 160, or even if you could hit it to highs of 140. That's about 15%, over 15%. But it's just making sure that you're getting in when it's actively trending up. That's what I would keep a very close eye out for, and to make sure that you understand the overall and full pattern. So please make that top priority, that you understand the pattern, and that you won't be super anxious, but that you'll understand the last time on how it previously went up and stuff like that, and then you can simply follow up with it and stuff as it continues to recover and show signs of an uptrend pattern. So thank you again for calling all those stocks out, but we're done with the breakdowns now. So I need to blow my nose one more time. Give me one quick second, guys. Here we go. So John Ladding 2 says ticker symbol DAO. I saw that someone told you that I already did it. Yeah, so I already did break it down. Yeah, very easy to see that. There's no reversal just yet. Very consistent pattern. So I see why it is that you see val in it. So let's just wait for the confirmation. But good call out. Thank you again for that. So am I taking any more positions today? I'm going to keep it pretty simple. There is a lot of things that are very red. Again, taking into consideration of like, first of all, and I'm talking to you guys like as my group, right? Like as part of my team and stuff like that. And you guys have to understand, like sometimes I find myself and this is not something that I would encourage you guys to do. And I know that not only just myself because of the position that I'm placed in, but just it's sometimes because of my YouTube channel and creating like relevant like content and stuff like that. Sometimes I almost feel like I need to take a position almost every single day to talk about certain profits or to talk about certain patterns. And I honestly don't like that feeling, because I sometimes find myself getting in a little bit too early because I just need to take a position and prepare for the next day. It's something that I want to like implement and want to become a little bit more familiar with is actually just I see a lot of value, in my honest opinion, and again, this is my opinion, and please, like, don't trade in it, but, like, when it comes down to the pattern on USLV and how consistent it is, right, how consistent this is, like, I want to wait for this, like, I wanted to wait for the confirmation. I wanted to buy in at 10, I wanted to sell at 11, I wanted to capitalize on that 10%, very simple pattern, right? But just imagine this, and I know this sounds dumb, but just imagine this, for the next 3 days, as I wait for the confirmation, I don't take a position. You know that some people within our group, and I don't, some people within our group will start to ask, well, Ricky isn't trading, Ricky isn't taking a position. No, I'm trying to focus on quality. So I do find myself sometimes having to feel forced to take a position, and that's 100%. I know I don't have to. I want you guys to know that. And I take it based on like, just the understanding that, hey, I still think I'm getting in at a good deal. But I do sometimes go in a little bit too early. But I think a lot of it has to do with just trying to stay relevant within like the YouTube space and stuff like that, and being able to create content for the overall group, right? So I just wanted to explain myself on, as you guys, watch me trade, right? And see me take positions before the confirmation, and then I spend 1 or 2 days or maybe even 3 days without actually making any money and just staying and plateauing, right? But then it's the fourth day or fifth day, the last 2 days of the week, where it makes up all this margin, right? And that's the active uptrend. That's when it really matters. And I'm actually going to make a video about that on how I use the MACD indicator to have a better understanding of when these things are gonna are about to reverse. I've already made a video about it, but it's kind of a little bit more in depth, and as well as talking about entry points. It's actually a sticky note that I have right on my computer of videos that I want to film by the end of today. So I wanted to explain that to you guys because a lot of you guys sometimes take a position a little bit too early with me, and that's definitely not something that I would encourage you guys to do. And it's guys, and for yeah, so definitely and 100% what's going on, William? Sorry I'm late. Yeah, so and it's just something it might be just something that I feel like people expect from me to do, and I don't feel bad about it at all. If anything, I mean, my success rate with these swing trades have been pretty consistent, right? There's no question about that. So it's not like I'm being very devastated, or I'm being devastated by any of this of what it is that I'm trading. Sometimes I just choose to get in a little bit too early, and I feel like that plays a role in when I get out. I also want to get out a little bit too early just because I've been in this position for a long period of time. So I just wanted to share it with you guys. I'm a little bit closer with you guys just because I work with you guys every single day. So that's really just it. I don't feel pressured or anything like that, and I just wanted to be open with you guys because you guys watch me trade every single day, and I want to make sure that you guys understand why does Ricky always get in before the confirmation? If you guys see, I almost take a position now almost every single day, and a lot of the times it's not really for the sake of for the actual trade, but it's just the sake to stay relevant, and it's all good. I mean, I enjoy what it is that I do, and again, that's why am I taking any trades today? Oh shoot. Sorry about that. It's my neck pillow. But yeah, so am I taking any more positions today? As of now, no. I would like to really weigh out on USLV. I really do see a lot of value in that pattern. It offers a little bit, in my opinion, over 10 to 12% potential profit, and that could definitely get me to my weekly goal, right? If I end up taking a $25,000 to $27,000 position, being able to cover anywhere from the $2,500 to potentially $3,000 profit will get me to my weekly goal, right, of the 3K a week. So I just want to keep it consistent and focus on what it is that I see value in, and kind of go based off of that. There's a lot of stocks that are showing a lot of good potential. Something like JNUG that is very oversold, showing signs of potential reversal. Something like DGAS and UGAS are a little confusing for me right now. The patterns are very volatile as of right now, so I don't find that to be very consistent. I find it to be a little bit more of a higher risk, and obviously ticker symbol M pushing up very aggressively and then now pulling back. Don't find that to be too attractive. So thank you. I feel confident when looking at the 100-day chart. I think get confused going to shorter time frames. Okay, and Ed, that is just something that you'll have to dedicate a little bit more time to. And it's all a matter of time. So he's saying that he feels confident looking at the 180-day chart, but then getting confused on the shorter time frames. And I think it's because a lot of these indicators, when you go to shorter time frames, can also kind of contradict themselves. And that's okay. Keep it simple. Try to focus on the pattern itself. Just ensure that you're getting a good deal first. Focus on that, and then start focusing on the indicators and stuff like that. Because what it really comes down to is, are you getting a good deal? Same thing with buying and reselling a house and stuff like that. You can think about okay, what the HOA is, what the mortgage is going to be, what your interest rate is. But if you're getting a good deal at the house, that outweighs everything. Same thing with trading. If you're getting in at a good deal and you are, and it's actively trending up, then it makes sense on why that could be a good potential investment. So keep it simple. Focus on what it is that you do understand, and then just be consistent about what you don't, and you'll eventually get there. So you have me, you have the whole TechButt Solutions team to assist you along the way. So thank you again for sharing your, what you've been struggling with. Yeah, I agree. So William Gibbon is saying markets are chaotic right now. Perfect time to not take a position. I agree. So and then I have 3 alerts set on USLV. Blake, that's really solid. I like that. Trying to learn that control now. I like that. So symbol here. Do you know how to trade options? No, and for all those that like, I've been getting so many direct messages about, do I trade options? Do I trade futures? Do I trade Forex? All right, guys, all I want to talk about, and the only groups that I'm going to host are about, at least with that I manage, are stocks, and then the series of ETFs that I trade. That's it. Like that's our focus. Yeah. I made up the cost of the course yesterday. Reet, I'm really happy to hear that. Super happy to hear that you've been able to do so well so quick. Yeah, so Hariki, I know for clickbait, the 1K earnings is great, but for use of the LPP, can you take more of a percentage? Yep, I agree. So following up and talking more about like my percentage gains rather than the dollar value, I do agree that that is pretty consistent. But you guys also can see, you guys get to watch me. Holy moly. SI just had a huge pullback, and so did USLV. I actually saw that volume spike come in. Yeah, all my alerts are going off. So we're right now. We just dropped 10 cents. Yep, there it goes. Let's check out USLV, or I want to check out SI actually a little bit more on what happened there. And it's still within the same range. So if you look at previous patterns, you guys can't see. So I had a pretty decent sell-off. You can see right here. That means that something should have happened with gold as well. Where's gold at? Did gold push down that aggressively? Yeah, it sold off pretty aggressively as well. How's natural gas doing? Not affected. Not affected really. Okay, there it goes down to 1610. It's starting to slowly recover, but as we can see here, like as we can see here, it's still staying within the same range, the same general area, right? I could see one time that it's gone to lows of, what is that? About the same price, around about 1610. So it's staying around the same general area for /SI, and that's kind of what I'm going based off of. I'm going to follow up with it throughout the day and see if there's a complete break of pattern, and if it is, maybe I can just cut losses and revisit USLV later. Or I can see if it's starting to consolidate a little bit more, and maybe if it could reverse intraday. So definitely something to follow up with. So Apple just went above. So Apple had its earnings today. Apple is actually showing signs of a reversal. Hey, this is actually something that's pretty good. Apple had its earnings, hit its expectation, and it is at a good deal, and it's actively trending up. This actually is not a bad. Based on the pattern that is showing, make sure you understand the pattern, the margin that it has to offer, about almost 6%, so about 5%. This range from around 165 to 175, very consistent pattern. It's actively trending up, and it already had its earnings. So, sweet. I like it. Let me know what you guys end up thinking about this one. So, great call out. Or great alert. That's why it's so important to take alerts or to set alerts, because you can see what is actively trending up and what's trending down. So there it goes. Yeah, so there definitely can be big pullbacks during earnings, but Apple had a positive earnings and it's actually having a positive push up. So a little bit different. Whoa. Okay, okay. So the earnings are today, but it's actually after after hours. I do apologize for that. So for others that are watching right now, yeah, so then I would kind of hold off. If you see value in it for a day trade, then it would make sense. But I also want to let you know that it does have its earnings at 4 p.m. Central Time today. So if I'm not, yeah, that's still after market close. So I do apologize for that. Yeah, I do apologize. So Apple has an answer. Can't wait to see. Where drip grows, no earnings for Apple yet. Okay, thank you again for catching me on that. I was on the 180-day chart and I saw just the earnings bubble, and I thought it was a lot yesterday. I do apologize for that. I mean, I saw the catalyst on why it drove up, so yeah. There we go. It looks like drip is starting to reverse back up intraday. That's something that we could follow up with and see where that goes. But so Apple pushing up should help the entire market. No. There we go. Teamwork. I like it. But that is really just it, guys. We've been live for about 40 minutes. And I hope that you guys enjoyed today's live stream. I feel like we've kept it pretty simple. You guys kind of know where it is that I stand with my overall positions, what it is that I see value in, and what it is that I don't, kind of what it is that I'm waiting for. And I explained to you the whole correlation between the future and the ETF. What is it that I'm waiting for, what I would encourage people to do on waiting for the confirmation and stuff like that. We broke down, I think, over 10 to 15 stocks for all of you. And we answered a couple questions. So how do you determine when something breaks above the line or a full candle body above? I think it's pretty easy to understand, like when there's like a false reversal, so when it just pushes up and then gets rejected. Usually what I want to see is that when it pushes up above that 180-day EMA and then it continues to actively trend up, or that it pulls back and then confirms that uptrend. So if it makes highs of day or newer highs, or if it does that pullback confirmation. So I think that's very important to know. Yeah, so someone is saying, get some sleep, man. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram. If you guys want to, the link is down below. But I was up pretty late last night. I was up again at around like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was pumped. We were working on a bunch of different projects in preparing for May of 2018, so preparing for this month. And I was super excited. So yeah, I love what it is that I do. So although I do lack on sleep, we make it up with having fun. So are you going live for Tech Buds now? I'm going to be going live for Tech Buds tomorrow. If you're talking about my YouTube live stream, I'm not going to do that until maybe like an hour or two. So thank you again for asking. So Kenny, I don't know why it would not be showing. Just make sure that it has executed, and as long as it has completely sold, it should be under your history. But just make sure that it has executed. Ricky has to charge his robotic parts. Why the dislikes? Are there really dislikes? It cracks me up that there's dislikes on. I don't know if people do it as a joke. Actually, let me. I've always wanted to do this. Do you guys mind if I do this real quick? I want to click play ad. And I want to see what happens. I've never done this in any of my live streams. Let me check it out. How many of you guys actually see an ad? That is so weird. Like why I would even. Let me know if you guys see anything. No ad for me. Yeah, I've never. Yeah, no ad. Ad block. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think that it was actually going to work. Someone told me that when they go live, they always post it like that. But just wanted to test it out, so that's funny. Yeah, so I don't know why there's so many dislikes. Not so many. There's like usually like 1 or 2 or something like that. If you're part of the Learn Plan Profit Group, I mean, yeah, if you just don't like the live stream, I get it. So before your live stream, a video plays. Oh, okay, I see. So yeah, that's really just it for today, guys. So it looks like USLV is starting to try to catch a support at around 940, but again, it's still way too early to tell. I'm gonna see if if we can break above like 980, that would be very attractive, just based on the overall pattern that it has to offer. So let's just keep it consistent. Let's focus on quality, and let's not force anything. We have a lot of stocks that are actively trading up. Apple, for example, just watch out for the earnings after market hours, so it would not probably be a swing trade for me. And I also find the reversal pattern for like JDST and JNUG to be also pretty attractive as well. So that is really just it, guys. I hope you guys all have an amazing rest of your Tuesday. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or Justin within the Learn Plan Profit Discord chat. And that is really just it. So I hope you guys all have an amazing rest of your Tuesday. Continue working hard, continue following your dreams. Let your passion be what drives your success. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a great note. I really appreciate you guys' time. And like always, guys, yeah, let's take it easy, team.